On March 8, 2014, the world was shaken by one of aviation's greatest mysteries. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a Boeing 777, took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, bound for Beijing, China, but it would never reach its destination. The flight vanished from radar screens, sparking an international search effort that has lasted years, with the wreckage still mostly unaccounted for. In today's video, we'll take a deep dive into the tragic events of Flight MH370, examining what happened before the plane disappeared, the clues left behind, and the intense investigations that followed. Let's explore the mystery and the unanswered questions surrounding the disappearance of MH370. Flight MH370 began its journey on a regular March evening from Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 12:41 a.m. local time, carrying 239 passengers and crew members. The flight was on a routine route to Beijing with a flight time of about 6.5 hours. For the first 40 minutes, everything seemed normal, with the plane cruising at an altitude of 35,000 feet. The last communication from the cockpit was a routine exchange between the pilots and air traffic control at 1:19 a.m. The crew, as part of standard procedure, acknowledged a routine message with the words, "Good night, Malaysian 370. That was the last time anyone heard from the plane. At this point, the plane was cruising over the South China Sea, just off the coast of Vietnam, when things started to go awry. The plane's transponder, which sends critical information about the aircraft's altitude and position to air traffic control, suddenly stopped transmitting. This was highly unusual and began to raise alarms. But even more alarming, radar tracking showed that the aircraft had turned back toward Malaysia. After losing communication, the plane's transponder stopped working, but the secondary radar system in place in the region still detected the aircraft for some time. According to military radar data, MH370 made an abrupt turn, heading back west across the Malaysian peninsula. The plane flew for approximately another 1 hour and 40 minutes before disappearing from radar altogether. At 2:22 a.m., the aircraft's last known position was detected, and after that, the plane simply vanished from radar screens. No distress signals, no emergency calls, and no sign of what had gone wrong. At this point, aviation authorities were left with few clues about the fate of the plane. As the plane had disappeared from radar, the search for Flight MH370 began almost immediately. Initially, authorities believed the plane had crashed somewhere in the South China Sea near its last known position. But after several days of intense searching, no wreckage was found. The search efforts were then expanded, involving ships, planes, and thousands of personnel, focusing on a vast area of ocean stretching across multiple countries. Weeks turned into months, and the search efforts grew more extensive. On March 24, 2014, authorities made a devastating announcement. The plane's final location was likely somewhere along a remote stretch of the southern Indian Ocean, hundreds of miles off the coast of Australia, based on satellite data. The plane had likely crashed somewhere in this vast and remote ocean, but no wreckage had yet been found. In July 2015, a debris flap from the plane was discovered on the island of Reunion, a French territory in the Indian Ocean. This was the first confirmed piece of wreckage to be found, offering a small glimmer of hope that investigators might be able to pinpoint the crash site. Over the next few years, more pieces of wreckage were found along the coasts of Mozambique, Tanzania, and Mauritius. But the discovery of wreckage raised more questions than answers. Why was the plane so far off its intended route? What happened during those crucial final hours of the flight? And why did the plane fly for so long after losing contact? The investigation into Flight MH370's disappearance remains one of the largest and most complex aviation inquiries in history. While the cause of the crash is still officially undetermined, several theories have been proposed over the years. One theory suggests that one of the pilots deliberately diverted the plane from its course, perhaps for reasons that remain unknown. Investigators examined the pilots' personal lives and backgrounds, but found no definitive evidence to support this theory. Some speculated that the plane was hijacked and the hijackers took control of the aircraft. However, no group claimed responsibility for the hijacking, and the absence of communication from the plane casts doubt on this theory. Another possibility is that a mechanical failure or fire on board incapacitated the crew and passengers, causing the plane to fly on autopilot before eventually running out of fuel and crashing into the ocean. Investigators also focused on the final flight path and the possibility that the plane was deliberately flown into the ocean in an attempt to avoid detection. Today, more than 7 years later, the disappearance of Flight MH370 remains unsolved. Despite years of searching and millions of dollars spent, the final location of the plane is still uncertain. While some wreckage has been recovered, the full story of what happened during those crucial hours before the crash remains a mystery. For the families of the passengers and crew members, the unanswered questions are a constant source of pain and frustration. And for the aviation industry, this tragedy has led to significant changes in flight tracking systems and safety measures to ensure that such an event never happens again. While the investigation continues and new theories are proposed, MH370 remains one of aviation's greatest mysteries. Flight MH370 is a tragic and haunting event that continues to captivate the world. The questions surrounding what happened to this plane and its passengers are still unanswered, and while much has been done to improve aviation safety since then, the mystery of MH370 will never be forgotten. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates on similar aviation mysteries and unsolved cases.